All right, in this video, we're going to talk about using spend management, which is a function you can see when you create a purchasing transaction. So here we'll go through the process of preparing a standard purchase requisition. We've got our vendor selected. We'll use our funding source. If you notice there, I just typed in the funding source itself, and Intacct auto-filled the program and checkbook for me. And so we'll prepare our February estimated phone bill at $250. So if we go through submitting this, during this process, Intacct is checking to make sure that the vendor is legitimate, that the funding source is allowed, the item ID has budget, and does the amount that we're submitting, what's its potential impact on the budget? And so we've all seen the message, something like this: reduce the transaction amount or contact the budget administrator to resolve the overage. Typically, the budget administrator is the program itself, so you're responsible for your budget. If we're not quite sure what we're looking at here, when we come back here, there is this Show Spend Insight button. And if we click that, it's basically going to run a budget report for this single line here. And so we get the same information. There's our program checkbook funding source. There's the account number we're using. There's the current budget for the line. There are no expenses. There's no open encumbrances or commitments. And we're requesting to spend $250, which would result in the line becoming $50 over budget. So in this instance, Intacct is telling us that there's not enough budget available to accommodate the $250 purchase. So that leaves us with two options. If $250 is what we anticipate the bill to be, then the person responsible for budget, your budget administrator, can prepare a change request to increase the budget. Or if you're overestimating what the monthly phone bill would be, and you can reduce that $250 to $200 or to something within that range, then you'd be able to come back to here, change that amount, and resubmit to have that go through. Now, this does work for multiple lines. So if we're including office supplies that we're purchasing from the same vendor, and we have those amounts there, when we submit or we hit Show Spend Insight, Intacct will be able to distinguish the budgets and requests for each of those lines. Okay. Now that's done running, we can see line 1. We didn't make a change to that line, so we're getting the same result. Line 2 has a budget for $10,001, and the $300 request is well under what's available, so it'll continue to have funds available if this transaction were processed. So it's going to be able to tell that difference, but if we submit, Intacct is not going to send one of the lines through and then withhold the other line. We're going to get that budget error message because one of the lines in this transaction exceeds the budget limit. So that's a quick way for you to get a handle on the finances without having to leave this page and go run a separate report, or to reach out to another person to explain to you the issue with the budget for the account number.